In addition to everything else going on in 2020, for me, 2020 was also the year of heat, in that I used a lot of heat styling relative to what I normally do. Just looking back through the videos and photos, I found that I flat ironed my hair a total of 4 times during the second half of the year, which is far more than my usual 1 time a year or so. Now that's a lot of heat because each time my process also includes using a blow dryer first. And over time, that really adds up in terms of the amount of direct heat that is applied. So a few months ago, I posted a video of me twisting my flat ironed hair, and I raised the concern that I could potentially have heat damage. I had done the twist on my flat ironed hair and was spraying my hair with water and aloe, and I just noticed that it wasn't getting as kinky as quickly as usual. Now, there were lots of potential reasons for this, so check out that video to see me do that style and talk through some of those reasons. But I certainly wanted to rule out heat damage, and I knew I'd have to wait till my next wash day to really see. So that brings me to today's video. Here's my footage from my most recent wash day. Finally got around to it. So this is me getting straight out of the shower after washing my hair in twists. I haven't put anything on my hair. I've not conditioned it yet either. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, I have literally no heat damage. This is what my hair usually looks like when I wash in twists. You can see I have ample shrinkage, more so in the back than the front. My hair in the front tends to hang a little bit more, and that's more typical for me because that hair in the front and sort of at the crown is a slightly looser texture than the 4C I have in the back. But if you look at some of my older videos, you'll see that my hair does a similar thing. One thing I noticed is that it looks like my hair at the ends has a bit more of a curl pattern than I remember today, and that could just be that I don't remember correctly. I don't really think there's heat damage there from what I can tell. I'll include a few more texture shots here and a side by side from before my wash day so you can just see the shrinkage that occurred. And also this is me separating out the hair in the back that's a little bit different texture than the hair in the front. And you can see the amount of shrinkage I have in the back also relative to the front. So I don't have all the answers to avoiding heat damage, and I understand that people have different sensitivity to heat in terms of incurring heat damage. But here's what I did during the course of flat ironing my hair so frequently and why I think I don't have a ton of heat damage in this case. So I'm going to talk through the top 5 reasons why I think I avoided heat damage in this case. And I'm going to do that as I actively continue my wash day routine by applying my conditioner. Tip number 1 is to use a heat protectant. In general, I'm sort of skeptical about heat protectants. I mean, I always use one, but it just seems like you can't really cover every single strand with a heat protectant no matter how much you try. But it does offer some protection, and it's certainly better than nothing. I use the Chi 44 Iron Guard, and I think it works well. Tip number 2 is to use an appropriate heat setting. I've always been one who was a bit concerned about heat damage, so I have in the past tended to use a lower heat setting, somewhere around 375. But what I found was that in order to get a sleeker look, I had to do multiple passes. So going up to a setting around 410, I found that I could achieve the look I wanted by doing just one pass. And overall, I think that limits the total amount of heat I'm delivering to my hair. It seems counterintuitive that going up on the heat settings could reduce your heat damage, but for me, it meant that I had to do fewer passes, and I think that worked in my favor. Tip number 3 is to avoid using heat in between your flat ironing sessions. So when I flat ironed my hair, I did it once, and I didn't use any heat again until my next wash day and condition, meaning I didn't do any touch-ups whatsoever. That includes my edges. So of course my edges weren't amazingly sleek, but that was a sacrifice I was willing to make. So this really comes down to having a good way of maintaining your hair once it is flat ironed. And I've shown in prior videos exactly what it is that I do to maintain my hair once it's flat ironed, essentially these 2 Bantu knots. So if you want to avoid having to apply extra heat, you really have to perfect a way of maintaining your flat ironed hair. So something like this might work. Tip number 4 is to deep condition, deep condition, deep condition. And I'll admit I'm not saying anything particularly profound here, but I am extremely extra with my deep conditioning when I know that I'm going to flat iron my hair. By deep conditioning, I mean applying conditioner to my hair and then putting it up and then putting it under a shower cap and sitting under some sort of a heat source, whether that's a hooded dryer or one of those microwave caps that you can wear to heat your head after you apply the conditioner. Any of those things would work, but that's extremely important. For me, what that does is make sure I limit the potential for damage or breakage, just giving my hair a bit of extra protection when I know I'm going to inflict some potential damage to it. And as you can see from what I'm doing now, I apply a lot of conditioner to my hair in general. My fifth and final tip is to just know your hair. So check in with your hair. If you think your hair is particularly sensitive to heat, or you've had significant heat damage in the past, even from minimal heat, then maybe heat shouldn't really be part of your routine regimen if you want to maintain your curls as they are. I've had times in the past, not really recently, where I would maybe use heat and then notice I had more broken pieces or strands of hair than usual. And for me, that would be a sign to not continue to use heat as frequently. So things like that you should really pay attention to. Also look at things like split ends. My hair tends to have more split ends when I use heat than not. So those are also things to sort of look out for and consider in your decision to use heat. So in conclusion, I'm probably less skeptical about using heat now that my hair, apparently did fairly well. So I might be more apt to use it every once in a while now. Again, keeping in mind all of the tips and practices that I've used that have served me well so far. I am curious about what your practices are surrounding heat use and how your hair tends to tolerate it. So definitely comment below. As you can see, my wash day is not even close to being done, so I will continue. As always, thank you guys so much for watching.